You know, growing up, I was never the biggest Daredevil fan. However, as an adult, I became more of a fan when I got into the Shadowland stories and, of course, the Netflix series with Charlie Cox. And the fact that he's coming back in the MCU is equally exciting. But today, I decided let's look at the Daredevil statues that are out there and see which one is the best. So you know what that means. It is time for an Extreme Rumble or an Extrumble. So we're going to compare and contrast them. Let's go. Just me. You're not going anywhere with me, but... As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Now, before we dive into both these guys, you know Matt Murdock does not go into the courtroom or out onto the rooftops of Hell's Kitchen without the coldest water bottle. It keeps him refreshed all night long because it keeps water cold for an entire day, if not 3 days plus, where he can beat the shit out of criminals without having to worry about thirst. If you want to be like Matt Murdock, check out the link in the description below. You can win one of these, or you can just buy some. Use the code EXTREME, get a discount, and support the channel. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. As I said in the intro, today we're going to compare and contrast some Daredevil statues. Well, I had a bunch more on the thumbnail and in the title. Today we're going to mainly focus on Iron Studios 1/4 scale versus Sideshow 1/4 scale because both are phenomenal pieces. We're going to use the typical review categories and maybe throw in a few others and see which one wins each category and is the overall winner. Now, as a spoiler, I thought it was going to be Iron Studios, but I'm not so sure anymore. Now, before we dive into that, if you don't know who Daredevil is, he is a blind lawyer who is a crime fighter and beats criminals to a bloody pulp. It's also very awkward that you're watching this if you don't know who Daredevil is, unless you're just here to see me, which that's kind of awkward as hell too. Now in the intro you saw another Daredevil statue where he was dressed in black. Now that's from a different storyline where he was kind of possessed by a demon and essentially a bad guy. He murdered Bullseye. I've actually done a video comparison between that one and its variant counterpart, or I guess that one's the variant, of this original one from Sideshow Collectibles. You can check out the video right here. Now I have another Daredevil coming in as well. It's a custom piece, which means it's a private unlicensed commission, this piece right here. Very excited to get him, probably not till 2022 or later. Now this whole setup I have going on, I have not only these Daredevil pieces, but I have this Elektra, and this is a variant also made by Sideshow Collectibles. I have this custom Kingpin coming very, very soon. This custom Ghost Rider also sits next to these in the display. And this Punisher from Sideshow Collectibles. Now you can go check out the individual videos on those, but if you want to see what they look like in the collection, check out the Extreme channel Instagram, Facebook page, and TikTok, as I post exclusive content on there. Alright, so let's dive into these pieces. As I said, they're both made by licensed companies. That means Marvel, or whoever holds the rights to Daredevil nowadays, actually approved of both of these. They're both made by fantastic sculptors, and we're not going to get into all that detail. We're just going to look at the basic stuff, for example, starting with concept. Now, as you can see, it's incredibly similar. Their pose is very similar. They have similar bases, but let's take a look. Now, both of these have a building base. Whether the Sideshow one kind of looks like it's on top, the Iron Studios could be on top. We're not really sure about that. The Iron Studios has a lot more ties to Daredevil's heritage. If you remember in the individual review I did on Iron Studios, you can check that out. Daredevil was an orphan growing up. He was raised in the Catholic Church. So I like that they incorporated that. You see the angels on the base where you don't see that on the Sideshow one. As you move up and you see Daredevil in the attack pose on both of them, you see the stained glass window in the back of Iron Studios. But they are both with their billy clubs out, leaning forward, ready to attack, looking down. So either their opponent is down there or they're ready to protect the city. They're in their full gear, a very serious expression, and with Sideshows, we're going to talk about this during design, you can actually have two expressions. Muscled out in the traditional Daredevil uniform, and they are both great concepts. I think they both capture Daredevil perfectly. So really, when you're looking at both, I think both suffice, but I have to give the edge a little bit to Iron Studios because they got the angels, because they got the stained glass window. So for that reason, I think Iron Studios wins concept. Design. There's a few different features to design. First is footprint. They take almost the exact same identical footprint. If you want to know what the exact specifications are, you can check the website, or you can go look at the individual reviews I have for both, because I've also individually reviewed the Daredevil from Sideshow. Seems like a long time ago when the channel first started. But just looking at them right here, they take up about the same amount of room. The portrait on the Sideshow fits a little bit better than the Iron Studio. So here's pictures of them both. On the Iron Studios, you can actually tell that there is kind of a little bit of a seam there. The Sideshow Collectible, this is the exclusive, and it has a switch out portrait. So first, you have more of a serious look with kind of a futuristic helmet, really. Then you have almost what I would almost call an angry portrait with the traditional Daredevil. Also, you have some display options on these Sideshow Collectibles that you don't have on the Iron Studios, specifically with the Billy Clubs. Right here, you can display them with the rope between the two, or without, where the Iron Studios just has the rope. So really, that's it for design. So once again, nothing bad on either of them, but clearly Sideshow Collectibles has the edge, so they win on design. Paint and sculpt, both are done really well. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be difficult to determine a winner other than preference. So when we're talking about paint and sculpt, unfortunately, I think they're both done so well, the execution really probably won't be a big factor as some of the choices behind the stuff. So for example, looking at the paint, the bases, one is lighter, one is darker. If you recall during the review of the Iron Studios, I said I'm not really a big fan of this. I don't like the light colors. And you're going to see that on the suit in a second, because to me, Daredevil's a night guy. He likes to go out at night, and everything's dark to him. Sorry, that was a blind joke. You might not have seen it. I need to fucking fire the writers for this program. But what I do like on the sculpt of the Iron Studios better on the base is actually how it's more bashed up. There's some broken pieces. It looks more natural as opposed to the Sideshow one. The windows both look fantastic. We already talked in concept how the stained glass is better, but I like the broken window on the Sideshow Collectibles. When you look at the suit, they have a lot of what I would call the armor padding. So different textured levels. They both show a lot of folds, different types of folds in the different parts of the suit. So I like it a lot. One big difference between them is not necessarily the suit when it comes to the sculpt, but the anatomy. It seems like the Iron Studios is a little bit more buff as opposed to the skinniness of the Sideshow. Now, typically when I look at Daredevil, I like a little bit more of a skinny Daredevil personally, but a more muscularized one makes more sense because a lot of his strength is just his power to beat people up and take a beating. Now, I do like the paint on the Sideshow one better, simply for two reasons. Number one, I think Iron Studios, there's too much shading in the muscle indentations. Two, I think the Iron Studios is too light. Again, Daredevil's kind of a night guy. And then I like what Sideshow Collectibles did is more of a modern twist. All the accessories are a different color. They're not just a different color of red, but they're a black, so I think it contrasts it much better. So I think for that reason, the Sideshow Collectibles is better on the actual paint overall. Sculpt, though, honestly, it is so close. I like the sculpt of Daredevil better, I think, on Sideshow, but I think I like the sculpt of the base better on Iron Studios, which just really surprised me. I thought Iron Studios was going to win a lot of the categories, but I'm not going to give a winner to the sculpt. I think they both actually deserve a point. Value is going to be a tough category, too. So Sideshow Collectibles, they made 2,250 of these. And it retailed right around $575. $750 were the exclusive that have the switch out portrait. Iron Studios, they made 550 or 600 of these. I'm not sure because what the base says is different than what the website says. They retailed for $705. So a little bit more money, a little bit lower edition size. I'm going to base the value off of what you can get these in the aftermarket right now. This guy seems to sell for retail or less. This guy is always over retail for the most part. So for that reason, I think the value has to go to Iron Studios, and really blows me away because I think they're equally good. Which brings us to the final category. Which one has the X factor? I don't think either of them are 5 out of 5 statues. I think they're both damn close because I think they're both amazing statues. You know, when I initially got the Iron Studios in, I was sure it would be a replacement for the Sideshow. But now I'm not so sure. There's things I love about both, and I might end up keeping both. So this is where I want you to go to the community tab on Extreme Channel. I've actually put a link to the post below. So check that out. I'm actually going to do a poll on which one is better. So you guys get to choose. So go ahead and not only do that community poll on YouTube, but check out the Extreme Collector Facebook group. Link for that is also in the description below. The day I launch this, we're going to put a poll up there as well. In the meantime, go ahead and feel free to comment which one you would rather have in the comments below. The reason I ask you to comment is because of this. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Alright guys, very much appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Please give me a like on the way out. It really helps the channel if you haven't done that. And if you like stuff like this, you want to see that yellow Daredevil, that Kingpin, stuff like that, make sure to subscribe, hit that picture of me. In the meantime, check out some of these other videos. Take care.